The first fundraiser was a luncheon in Brooklyn at the Grand Prospect Hall, and we asked all our friends to bring their checkbook. I was born in Sparta, Greece, and at an early age I migrated to the United States, residing in Brooklyn, New York. I had a career in the finance world in excess of 40 years, working for some of the top Wall Street organizations. I retired in 2010 to go to London with my husband, George Handjinicolaou, and since then, in 2016, we have come to Athens, Greece, to live in K.I.F.I, and of course we have maintained our apartment in New York so that we can become dual citizens at retirement, spending and splitting our time between New York and Athens. My family has always been very active in the Greek-American community, while in Sparta, my father was very active in the community there. He was a small businessman. He comes from a very religious and family. So the church and charity was very important even way back then, even when there is no money. And one example, which I was told recently by my older brother, was they had a small transportation company, and where they would take oranges to Athens and they would bring back beer, etc., etc. Whenever they would come back empty to Sparta, there was a church being built. There was a small church that was becoming a cathedral in Sparta called Agios Nikon. My father, not a wealthy man, but his charity was there. Whenever he was coming back empty, he would ask the drivers to stop by the cement companies, whoever they were at the time, fill up the truck, and deliver the cement free of charge so the church could be built. So that is an example of charity from somebody that doesn't have that much to offer. That was part of my upbringing. When I started to work and I had some money to offer, or not enough money, but my talent and my hands, I created my interests and charities. The Metropolitan of Monovasia and Sparta had started to create a hospice in Magula called the Asilo Nanyaton, and had asked some of the Spartan elders in America to help raise funds. One of those elders was Mr. Stathakos. He had brought together a group of us, a number of 10, to try to help. And we, the 10 of us, started to figure out how to raise money. And I helped create a nonprofit for that organization, which was created in 1987. It was called the Incurable Illness Foundation, a 501c3. And the first fundraiser was a luncheon in Brooklyn at the Grand Prospect Hall. And we asked all our friends to bring their checkbook. And that day, we had a most wonderful event and raised $90,000. This was 1987. So it is a most important thing that I have ever done in my life. The event was mostly donated, the money was mostly donated by Greek Americans, mostly from Laconia, and some Greeks from Greece, and not necessarily all of them Spartan.
Μέσα από την καρδιά μου απευθύνω ευγνώμονες ευχαριστίες προς την κυρία Δωροθέα, τη Χαντζηνικολάου, η οποία κατάγεται εκ πατρός από τη Σπάρτη και χαίρεται και καυχάται να θεωρεί ότι είναι και αυτή Σπαρτιάτισσα. Και απευθύνομαι στην κυρία Vougioukli Handjinicolaou, διότι η ψυχή αυτών των ανθρώπων που κυριολεκτικά ξεσηκώθηκαν και προσέφεραν χρήματα για να αγοραστεί αυτό το υπέροχο αυτοκίνητο είναι η ιδέα.
At the ceremony, we met at the Platea, the town hall of Sparta, where the bus was waiting for us, and we had the blessing and then a nice lunch afterwards. This was not an easy project. I had to work on it very difficult, difficulties along the way. It took a long time, almost a year, to accomplish. And I didn't know if I could find the charity that I had started, if it would be viable for this product, or if I could find another nonprofit to benefit our donors in the U.S. And lucky for me, there is a wonderful couple. Her name is Katerina Bergandi Shaw, and her husband is Robert Shaw, very well known in the New York community. And Katerina comes from Sparta, and she, in 2015 sometime, created a nonprofit called the Associates of the Old People's Home of Sparta, which is a nonprofit 501c3 based in New York. I contacted her through a friend to call her to see if she would be willing to donate. And Robert started asking me for information. And he said, this is exactly what the nonprofit is. And of course he donated money immediately. But more importantly, he says, if you want to use the nonprofit, it would be appropriate for us to accept the money for this project. Well, this was a pennies from heaven, moment, and that immediately changed my whole momentum. I'm really very grateful to the dealership that I had reserved the car with, Papadakis SA. They helped me to keep the car on hold at the price for that time of period. The people that made this happen are the people, of course, that need the biggest and most important acknowledgement is the donors. I want to thank them because they all stepped up to the plate. They all had asked me to make sure we videotaped it or zoomed it so they could enjoy it. And this all came to fruition, and we did it February 19th.